In the land of the southwest, where ancient Canaan once thrived, the city of Gaza emerged as a beacon of history, its roots intertwined with the sacred tales of the past, stretching back to the time before time itself. In the ancient days of Mesopotamia, this city was a coveted jewel, captivating empires and civilizations who vied for its grace throughout the ages. Within the sacred narrative of the Bible, Gaza stands as a stage where monumental events unfolded, a home to peoples woven into a tale of rivalry and strife with the Israelites, echoing the divine drama of human existence. Gaza bore witness to significant confrontations, from the Egyptian campaigns of Thutmose to the sanctions against the Philistines during the era of Israel's judges, and through the battles of Babylonian and Persian conquests, echoing the strife of the Maccabean period and the dominion of Rome. Many biblical prophets foretold the destiny of Gaza, heralding its fall and destruction as a testament to the divine will woven through the fabric of time. But what prophecies dance within these tales? What is the origin of Gaza in the sacred scriptures? What truly unfolded upon that land throughout the ages, and why is its history etched with fierce struggles and profound desolations? It is precisely this enchanting journey we shall embark upon in this video. We shall draw from various esteemed sources, illuminating Gaza's history, sacred texts, historical records from neighboring civilizations, and the ancient whispers of historians like Herodotus, Strabo, and Josephus, alongside contemporary studies of the ancient past. Yet, alas, little archaeological work has graced Gaza due to the prohibitions surrounding this sacred site and its continual habitation. Let us begin by unveiling the location of Gaza, a city built upon the southwest edge of the land of Canaan, later known as Palestine, a place where the divine and the earthly converged. Especially during the Roman dominion, Gaza's geographical position marked it as a key point upon the ancient land routes of the Middle East, where journeys and fates intertwined. Nestled about 80 kilometers southwest of Jerusalem, and a mere 5 kilometers from the Mediterranean Sea, Gaza stood strategically between the Sinai Desert and the lush coastal plains of Canaan, a cradle of life and adventure. Thus, this sacred location served as a vital link between Egypt and the lands to the north and east, embracing not just Canaan, but also Syria and Mesopotamia, weaving a rich tapestry of trade and culture. Therefore, Gaza found itself upon one of the most important routes, both commercially and militarily, of ancient times, a bustling hub of exchange and encounter. The city served as a resting point for caravans bearing a multitude of goods, spices, precious metals, fabrics, and agricultural produce, carrying the blessings of trade across its land. Moreover, its proximity to the sea granted access to maritime routes, further extending its commercial reach, like a vessel sailing towards the horizon of prosperity. Conversely, armies marching from Egypt to the north could utilize Gaza as a base for their operations, a fortress from which their might was projected into the vast expanse. Thus, to control Gaza was to wield influence over the flow of goods, troops, and information circulating between Egypt and the Fertile Crescent, a lifeline of connectivity in the ancient world. Gaza lay approximately 19 kilometers south of Ashkelon, another significant Philistine city, their proximity fostering communication and commerce that echoed through the ages. This closeness facilitated communication and trade among the coastal Philistine cities, weaving a strong cultural and political fabric between them. Ashkelon and Gaza, along with other Philistine cities like Ashdod, Ekron, and Gath, formed a pentapolis in the region, a cluster of cities bound by destiny and shared heritage. Gaza's role as a crossroads of various routes imbued the city with a rich blend of cultures and influences, a vibrant mosaic reflecting the divine creativity of humanity. Traders, soldiers, and emissaries from distant lands passed through Gaza, bringing with them their languages, religions, and customs, enriching the city's tapestry of life. Yet, Gaza's advantageous position also bore many challenges. The city stood vulnerable to invasions from various peoples seeking control of the strategic route. Additionally, its closeness to the desert meant that Gaza had to contend with threats from nomadic tribes and the harsh realities imposed by the arid climate of the surrounding regions. Yet, Gaza was established upon a hill approximately 30 meters above a fertile plain, this natural elevation serving as a bulwark against potential attacks, a sentinel of hope amidst turmoil. Walls constructed around the city, combined with its elevated topography, made the advance of enemy armies difficult, allowing Gaza to withstand prolonged sieges, as history has often chronicled. The city boasted around 15 fresh water wells, vital for the survival of its populace and the sustenance of agricultural activities, an oasis in a realm of challenges. These wells ensured a constant supply of water, even in the driest of months, a divine provision amidst the trials of the earth. With these resources, Gaza flourished as a well-structured city, adorned with public spaces, bustling markets, and sacred temples, echoes of devotion and community spirit. Indeed, natural elements such as the availability of water and the fertility of the land profoundly influenced local religious practices and cults, a harmonious dance between nature and spirituality. Therefore, deities associated with agriculture and fertility were often venerated in Gaza, their divine presence woven into the fabric of everyday life. But what is the origin of the city of Gaza? Such a question is a complex tapestry to unravel, especially when speaking of one of the oldest cities in the world. To grasp this, we must journey back to the earliest recorded times in the Bible and other historical sources that echo the stories of Gaza. The city is mentioned in the book of Genesis, nestled within the context of the earliest civilizations that graced the region of the Middle East, their lives intertwining in divine purpose. The first mention of Gaza in the Bible occurs in Genesis 10 verse 19, where it is described as part of the territory of the Canaanites, a land rich with divine promise and human endeavor. In this passage, Gaza is cited as one of the boundaries of Canaanite territory, indicating its probable existence and significance even in ancient times. Gaza, a descendant of Canaan, son of Ham and grandson of Noah, was settled by the Canaanites who established themselves across that vast territory, building lives filled with the spirit of creation. They developed a rich and complex culture, with city-states engaging in trade and agriculture, their unique religious practices shining like stars in the night sky. Another significant biblical reference is found in Deuteronomy 2:23, where the Au people are mentioned as inhabitants of settlements extending to Gaza, a testament to the diverse tapestry of life there. Thus, it appears that the Eans were a Canaanite people residing in that region before the Philistines arrived, their presence a whisper of times gone by. Generally regarded as one of the oldest peoples of southern Canaan, their presence in Gaza suggests that the city was possibly already a center of habitation and culture before Philistine dominance took hold. Later, the Aus were succeeded by the Caphtorim, likely a seafaring group that many scholars believe influenced or even gave rise to the Philistines, who settled along the coast of present-day Israel and Gaza. Regardless, it was undoubtedly during Philistine control that Gaza gained even greater notoriety, a vibrant city at the crossroads of destiny. Indeed, the arrival of the Philistines marked a new era in Gaza's history, transforming it into one of the 5 principal Philistine city-states alongside Ashdod, Ashkelon, and Gath, a triumphant chorus of cities. For a time, Gaza was under Egyptian dominion. Extra-biblical historical records, such as the Annals of Pharaoh Thutmose, highlight Gaza as an important strategic center during Egyptian military campaigns, an altar of power and ambition. Thutmose conducted at least 17 expeditions to the Levant, seeking to expand Egyptian dominion. In his first campaign, culminating in the famous Battle of Megiddo around 1468 BC, Gaza served as a stopping point and logistical base for Egyptian troops, a vital link in their mighty chain. The city functioned as the last outpost before the north, showcasing its importance as a link between Egypt and the Levant, where destinies intertwined in a grand design. The Egyptian presence in the region was marked by military garrisons and direct administration, ensuring the safety of essential trade routes crucial to the Egyptian economy, a flourishing exchange of abundance. Thus, the conquest of Gaza by the Egyptians not only solidified control over vital trade routes, but also influenced the local culture, introducing Egyptian administrative and religious elements, a blending of faith and governance. Moreover, the Amarna letters, a collection of diplomatic correspondences inscribed on clay tablets and dating back to the 14th century BC, discovered in the late 19th century in Egypt, provide a detailed panorama of international relations during Egypt's New Kingdom, a window into the past's sacred diplomacy. While Gaza is not extensively mentioned, some letters refer to the region, indicating its significance within the Egyptian governance system, a thread in the grand tapestry of power. One of the letters, for example, sent by an ancient governor of Jerusalem, expressed concerns about attacks from the Habiru and sought assistance from the Egyptian pharaoh, a plea that resonates through the corridors of history. The term Habiru bears much scholarly discussion, for its breadth can indicate, depending on the context, marginal groups such as nomads, semi-nomads, rebels, mercenaries, raiders, archers, servants, and migrant workers, a diverse and dynamic society. Some scholars suggest a possible connection of this term to the Hebrews, although this relationship is not conclusive, as it is more widely accepted that the term was used as a social designation rather than an ethnic or tribal label. Another intriguing document, the Anastasi First Papyrus, dating from the end of the 19th Egyptian dynasty, also provides insights into Egyptian administration in Gaza, a testament to the intricacies of governance. The text describes the difficulties faced by a scribe traveling through the lands of Canaan, mentioning Gaza as part of the areas under Egyptian influence, a journey fraught with trials yet rich in experience. It appears that Egyptian officials were established in the city to oversee tax collection, recruitment of soldiers, and maintenance of order, guardians of the realm's balance. The interaction among various peoples in Gaza may have led to religious syncretism, with the possible adoption or adaptation of practices and beliefs among neighboring cultures, a divine fusion of faith. Thus, religion in Gaza was deeply influenced by the cultures that inhabited and dominated it, including the Canaanites, Philistines, Phoenicians, Egyptians, and other ancient Middle Eastern civilizations, a rich spiritual mosaic. The Canaanites, the earliest known inhabitants of Gaza, practiced a polytheistic religion centered around a variety of gods associated with nature, fertility, and celestial phenomena, with rituals that included animal sacrifices and occasionally even human offerings, alongside seasonal festivals, a vibrant celebration of life and devotion. During the periods of Egyptian rule, elements of Egyptian religion were likely introduced to Gaza, creating a spiritual dialogue that enriched the city's cultural landscape. Gods like Ra, the sun god, and the goddess Isis may have been worshipped through syncretic practices within the city, their divine energies intertwining with local traditions. With the arrival of the Philistines, Philistine religion dominated the spiritual life of the city. Dagon was the principal deity worshipped by the Philistines in Gaza, his presence felt in every corner. He is often mentioned in the scriptures as the god to whom the Philistines attributed their victories, a symbol of strength and perseverance. Dagon was associated with fertility and, in some interpretations, linked to grain and harvest, embodying the bountiful gifts of the earth. Temples dedicated to Dagon served as centers of worship and social activities, gathering places for the faithful and the community alike. The religious events of the Philistines included festivals, offerings, and possibly oracles, a sacred communion with the divine. The architecture of the temples may have been influenced by the practices and styles of Egypt, a reflection of the cultural exchanges of the time. Later, during the Assyrian and Babylonian dominions, elements of the religions of these empires may have been introduced to Gaza, a testament to the ever-evolving spiritual landscape. This same pattern likely repeated itself during Persian control of the region and later under Greco-Roman influence, a continuous thread of spiritual transformation. The religious practices of Gaza and other Canaanite peoples often became a source of conflict for the Israelites, as the sacred text records many vehement condemnations of idolatry and foreign cults that threatened Israel's religious purity. The Bible records many passionate condemnations of idolatry and foreign cults that threatened the religious purity of Israel, a call to remain steadfast in faith. Yet, to truly grasp this point, we must take a brief overview of the interaction between the Israelites and the people of Gaza during biblical times, a saga of alliances and rivalries. Indeed, the history of the relationship between Gaza and the people of Israel is quite complex, unfolding across various biblical books and historical periods, a divine tapestry of encounters. Over time, The city of Gaza played the roles of ally, enemy, and contested prize in relation to the Israelites, shifting like the sands of time. We have already mentioned that the Aeons who inhabited the region of Gaza before the time of Moses were supplanted by the Philistines, their arrival marking a shift in the city's narrative. Following the exodus from Egypt and the wandering in the desert led by Moses, the people of Israel, under Joshua's leadership, began the conquest of Canaan, the Promised Land, a journey ordained by divine promise. Joshua's campaign aimed to establish the tribes of Israel in the region, expelling or subjugating the peoples who dwelt there, an act of divine fulfillment. In Joshua 10:41, it is mentioned that Joshua defeated all the kings and territories from Kadesh Barnea to Gaza. This biblical reference illustrating the breadth of Israel's military campaigns. This biblical reference indicates the extent of Joshua's military campaigns, demonstrating Israel's intent to control the full breadth of the Promised Land, including the coastal areas dominated by the Philistines. After the initial conquest of the Promised Land, the land was divided among the tribes of Israel, a sacred distribution of divine inheritance. The text in Joshua 15:47 includes Gaza as part of the inheritance of the tribe of Judah, indicating that, at least in theory, Gaza was destined for this tribe of promise. This indicates that, at least in theory, Gaza was part of the territory intended for Judah. However, the actual possession of the city was a different matter altogether. The scriptures indicate that the tribe of Judah faced difficulties in establishing control over Gaza, a testament to the challenges of their quest. Indeed, the Bible highlights that the Zenaquins, a tall people considered giants, remained in Gaza, Gath, and Ashdod, suggesting that while Israel had success in many of its campaigns, they could not establish total control over Gaza, a challenge echoed in their enduring struggle. This suggests that while Israel had success in many of its campaigns, they could not establish total control over Gaza, a cycle of conquest and loss woven into their history. The book of Judges 1:18 mentions that Judah took Gaza along with Ashkelon and Ekron. Yet this conquest appears to have been temporary or partial. However, other passages indicate that the Philistines regained control over these cities, a cycle of conquest repeating through the ages. We know that the book of Judges depicts a period of instability and constant conflict between Israel and its neighbors, a turbulent era that tested their faith. Gaza, as a Philistine city, often served as a base for attacks against Israel. In Judges 6:4, for example, it is described how the Midianites, Amalekites, and other eastern peoples invaded Israel, reaching as far as Gaza, a flashpoint of conflict. These invasions caused great suffering to the people of Israel, devastating their harvests and flocks, leaving trails of sorrow. The mention of Gaza as a limit of invasions suggests that the city served as a staging point or strategic target for these hostile peoples, a pivotal chess piece in their grand designs. Yet, some of the most notable episodes involving Gaza during the Judges period occurred in the days of Samson, one of Israel's judges, a figure of legendary strength and divine purpose. The Bible recounts that Samson went to Gaza, where he saw a harlot and entered her house, a tale woven with both temptation and destiny. Then, when the Gazatis learned of his presence, they plotted to kill him at dawn, darkness seeking to overcome the light. Yet, he arose at midnight and performed an extraordinary feat. Samson uprooted the city gate, carried it on his shoulders, and took it to the mountain facing Hebron, a triumph against the odds. Clearly, this act humiliated the Gazatis and showcased Samson's superhuman strength, but it also heightened the hostility between him and the Philistines, a clash of titanic forces. Later, Samson was betrayed by Delilah and captured by the Philistines, who gouged out his eyes and took him to Gaza, where he was imprisoned and forced to grind in a mill, a poignant symbol of lost strength. Then, still in Gaza, during a celebration in the temple of Dagon, the god of the Philistines, Samson brought down the temple columns, killing himself and many Philistines, a final act of defiance and sacrifice. During the transitional period to monarchy, the Philistines captured the Ark of the Covenant in a battle against Israel, a moment fraught with divine implications. The Bible records that the Ark was taken from Ebenezer to Ashdod, yet it brought so much turmoil that the Philistines resolved to return it, recognizing the power it wielded. In this context, Gaza was mentioned as one of the cities that offered a golden offering to the Lord as part of the restitution, a humble recognition of divine authority. Later, under the reign of Solomon, the Kingdom of Israel reached its greatest territorial extent and political influence, ruling over the entire region west of the Euphrates, from Tifsa to Gaza, an empire of peace and prosperity. Over all the kings to the west of the Euphrates, ensuring peace throughout the region around them, a divine harmony. We know that Solomon was renowned for his diplomatic alliances and international trade, a masterful weaver of connections. Control or influence over Gaza would allow Solomon to access trade routes to Egypt and other regions, enhancing the economic prosperity of Israel, a testament to wisdom and foresight. Yet Gaza also became the target of various biblical prophecies, announcing judgments against neighboring nations that oppressed Israel, a clarion call for justice. The prophet Amos, for instance, condemned Gaza for capturing and selling people to the Edomites, a dark reflection of human exploitation. Therefore, through Amos, God announced that he would send fire upon the walls of Gaza, consuming its palaces, a divine reckoning foretold. The prophet Jeremiah also proclaimed God's judgment upon Gaza, and the prophet Zephaniah prophesied the ruin of that city, declaring that Gaza would be left desolate, a foreboding of divine retribution. Gaza's strategic location made it a target for foreign empires whose actions often impacted Israel, a chess piece on the board of power. Historical records indicate that Gaza was under Assyrian dominion at various times, having to pay high tributes to Syria, a heavy burden to bear. When Hezekiah, king of Judah, rebelled against the Assyrians, the Bible states that he attacked the Philistines as far as Gaza, a show of strength and defiance. The book of Jeremiah records a prophecy that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, would conquer Gaza and other lands of the Philistines, a herald of upheaval. Previously, Pharaoh Necho I of Egypt had also attacked Gaza during his military campaigns, a cycle of conquest repeating through the ages. With the fall of Babylon in 539 BC before Emperor Cyrus I, founder of the Persian Empire, a new era dawned upon the Middle East, a transformative moment. Cyrus permitted the subjugated peoples of Babylon, including the Jews, to return to their homelands and rebuild their temples and cities, a divine restoration. Although Gaza was not a Jewish city, the political changes of the time affected the entire region, a ripple through history. Under the Persian Empire, Gaza remained a strategic city within the Persian administrative system. The region was organized into satrapies, and Gaza likely formed part of the Phoenician satrapy, a vital cog in the machinery of governance. The Persians maintained a policy of relative local autonomy as long as the city paid tribute and did not challenge imperial authority, a delicate balance of power. Polybius, a Greek historian, mentions Gaza as a warrior city during this period. The city enjoyed prosperity and held military and commercial significance, a stronghold of wealth. Serving as the terminus of the incense route, which brought spices and other valuable goods from Arabia and Africa to the Mediterranean, a flourishing trade network. Then, in 332 BC, Alexander the Great began his campaign of conquest against the Persian Empire. After victory at the Battle of Granicus, he marched southward toward Egypt, conquering cities along the way, a journey of unparalleled ambition. The city of Gaza opposed Alexander's passage, and with the aid of Arab mercenaries, it resisted a 2-month siege before being ultimately conquered, a testament to the indomitable spirit of its people. Arrian, a Greek historian, reports that the siege of Gaza was one of the most difficult faced by Alexander. The city was heavily fortified and strategically positioned, a bastion of resistance. However, after intense combat and the use of war engines, Gaza's defenses were finally breached, a moment of profound change. In retaliation for the resistance, Alexander reportedly sold the surviving population and repopulated the city with inhabitants from other places, a cruel yet strategic measure. After Alexander's death in 323 BC, his empire was divided among his generals, leading to the formation of the Hellenistic kingdoms, a new chapter in the region's storied history. Thus, Gaza initially came under the control of the Ptolemies, who ruled Egypt, a shift in power that would shape the city's future. However, the city became a point of contention between the Ptolemies and the Seleucids, who controlled Syria, a dance of power and conflict. After the Battle of Banias, King Seleucus I Antiochus II defeated the Ptolemies and took control of Gaza and the surrounding region, marking a significant power shift. Under Hellenistic dominion, Gaza experienced a strong Greek cultural influence, a vibrant infusion of ideas and practices. The city was reorganized according to Hellenistic urban models, featuring the construction of theaters, gymnasiums, and other public buildings, an architectural flourish. The Greek language became predominant in administration and culture, and Greek religious practices were introduced, weaving new spiritual threads into the fabric of Gaza. Yet, the local population likely retained many of its traditions and ancestral cults, resulting in a cultural syncretism, a beautiful blend of old and new. However, in the 1st century BC, under the reign of Antiochus IV Epiphanes, the Seleucid Empire imposed forced Hellenization policies, including the prohibition of Jewish religious practices and the desecration of the Temple in Jerusalem, a divine provocation. This led to the Maccabean revolt, led by Mattathias and his sons, including Judas Maccabeus, a courageous stand against oppression, a testament to unwavering faith. After Judas Maccabeus' death, his brother Jonathan took leadership and continued military campaigns to solidify Jewish control over the region, a struggle of resilience and hope. These campaigns also extended against Gaza. Jonathan was not well received by the local population and resolved to besiege the city, plundering and burning its suburbs, a moment of conflict and divine challenge. Years later, during the reign of Alexander Jannaeus, the Hasmonean kingdom expanded significantly, a period of growth and divine promise. Alexander Jannaeus launched aggressive campaigns to extend Jewish control over coastal and Transjordanian regions, a determination forged in faith. Then, in 96 BC, after Gaza requested assistance from Egypt against the aggressions of Alexander Jannaeus and received no effective support, he besieged the city for a year, a testament to the trials of sovereignty. According to historians, after the fall of the city, Alexander Jannaeus ordered the destruction of Gaza and the massacre of its inhabitants, an act born of both strategy and animosity. This action was motivated by both strategic reasons and religious and political animosities, a tragic chapter in the city's narrative. In 63 BC, Roman general Pompey intervened in Middle Eastern affairs, reorganizing borders and establishing Roman supremacy. A new era dawned. Pompey restored the freedom of various Hellenistic cities that had been conquered by the Hasmoneans, including Gaza, a gesture of political recalibration. Flavius Josephus relates that Pompey returned autonomy to Gaza, allowing the city to rebuild and return to Greek cultural influence, a phoenix rising from the ashes. A few years later, Roman proconsul Aulus Gabienus continued the restoration of cities in the region, nurturing the spirit of renewal. He rebuilt Gaza and other cities, encouraging the return of their inhabitants and the revitalization of economic and cultural life, a divine rejuvenation. The city again became an important commercial and cultural center, minting its own coins and actively participating in Mediterranean trade routes, a hub of life and vibrancy. In 30 BC, Herod the Great received control of Gaza and other cities from Augustus Caesar, a mantle of responsibility for prosperity. Herod invested in the reconstruction and beautification of his cities, erecting public buildings, temples, and fortresses, a legacy of grandeur. However, after Herod's death, Gaza was incorporated into the Roman province of Syria, losing its status as a city under Jewish control, a shift in the balance of power. Throughout the intertestamental period, Gaza became a cultural melting pot where Persian, Greek, Jewish, and later Roman influences blended, a rich confluence of heritage. The city housed a diverse population, including Greeks, remaining Philistines, Jews, and other peoples, a vibrant community of varied backgrounds. But what happened to Gaza in the time of the New Testament and in later periods? The only direct mention of Gaza in the New Testament is found in Acts 8:26, in the account of evangelization by Philip the Evangelist, a moment of divine intersection. The biblical text records that Philip was instructed to travel the road that leads from Jerusalem to Gaza, where he would encounter an important Ethiopian eunuch, a moment of divine orchestration. Subsequently, the text informs that Philip explained the scriptures to the eunuch and baptized him, indicating an opportunity for the expansion of Christianity beyond Jewish borders, a burgeoning faith. A detail within the Acts text regarding Gaza has been the subject of scholarly debate, an exploration of meanings and interpretations. The text links Gaza to a deserted and desolate condition. Thus, some believe this description refers to the Gaza Road itself, indicating that the route crossed an uninhabited region, a reflection of time's passage. Others believe this description refers to Gaza itself, indicating that the city was uninhabited or in ruins at that moment, a poignant image of history's trials. Regardless, in 70 AD, during the Great Jewish Revolt against Roman rule, Gaza was attacked by Jewish rebels, a fierce assertion of identity and faith. Flavius Josephus recounts that the Jews destroyed part of the city. Yet, the destruction was not complete, and Gaza quickly recovered, continuing to thrive in the years to come. A testament to resilience. The city benefited from the relative peace provided by the Pax Romana, which encouraged trade and economic prosperity, a flourishing garden of abundance. Indeed, Gaza minted its own coins and became an important center of Hellenistic culture in the Eastern Mediterranean, a vibrant hub of intellectual exchange. The city was known for its schools of rhetoric and philosophy, attracting students and intellectuals, and housed temples dedicated to Greek and Roman gods, such as Zeus, Apollo, and Athena, a testament to cultural richness. While its primary religious activity centered around the worship of Mars, Gaza also boasted a stadium for sporting events inaugurated by Emperor Hadrian, a celebration of athleticism and community spirit. Later, with the official endorsement of Christianity in the Roman Empire, Gaza underwent a process of Christianization, marked by the destruction of pagan temples and the construction of Christian churches, a new dawn of faith. With the division of the Roman Empire, the city remained under Byzantine control. Yet around 635 AD, during the expansion of the Muslim Caliphate, Gaza was conquered and gradually experienced a conversion to Islam, a profound transformation of faith. Although Christian and Jewish communities remained present, this Muslim dominion was briefly interrupted during the Crusades, a clash of cultures and beliefs. From 1517, the city was incorporated into the Ottoman Empire until it came under British mandate in Palestine after World War I, a transition of power and governance. Subsequently, the city was occupied by Egypt after the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, and by Israel after the Six-Day War in 1967, a saga of enduring struggle and complex identity. Since then, lasting peace has eluded the region, despite various attempts at negotiation between the State of Israel and Palestinian authorities, a yearning for harmony amidst discord. The Israeli withdrawal in 2005 saw the modern city of Gaza situated almost on the same ground as the ancient, a continuity of life and legacy. This means that many archaeological sites remain inaccessible for excavation due to ongoing occupation and population density, which has understandably hindered the uncovering of material evidence to corroborate historical records of the ancient city. However, artifacts found in surrounding regions and references in ancient texts provide insights into the Philistines and other peoples who inhabited Gaza, helping to contextualize the regional history of that tumultuous territory, a reminder of shared human experience. As we conclude this journey through the rich tapestry of Gaza's history, may you carry with you the echoes of its ancient stories and the lessons woven within them. Let the resilience and faith of its people inspire your spirit, reminding you that even in times of turmoil, hope can flourish like a flower in the desert. We encourage you to explore further, deepen your understanding, and seek the wisdom that transcends time and place. Join us as we continue to unravel the threads of history and faith, together embarking on a path of enlightenment and discovery. Thank you for being a part of this exploration. May your heart be filled with knowledge and your soul with peace. Until next time, walk in faith, seek the light, and remember, every story is a reflection of the divine.